Yo, what is up everybody, it's Jay the Great here and welcome back to another Naruto reaction video here today. And today, for the first time in quite some time, we have a video by the great Naruto Explained. And as you can tell by the title, this is Why Jigen Destroyed Naruto and Sasuke So Easily They Weren't Nerfed, the Power of an Otsutsuki God. So folks, I will certainly admit that even myself was quite shocked by the decisive and thorough defeat of Naruto and Sasuke when they encountered Jigen, right? Jigen entered Naruto's household, even took his shoes off out of disrespect, ironically, and then went on to thoroughly annihilate Naruto and Sasuke with his vicious beating, right? So it's clear that the discrepancy in power between him and them was quite vast. And keep in mind, Jigen was simply an imperfect vessel that Ishiki hoped to replace with Kawaki later on in the narrative. So hence, most likely, that wasn't even Ishiki at full power. And that just simply illustrates how powerful Ishiki Otsutsuki really was, right? So I like the title here. It already implies the direction Naruto Explains is going in, right? They weren't nerfed specifically. Now, I understand the emotional appeal to Naruto and Sasuke, and with that being the reason for why people had to explain this beating, with people's explanation for Naruto and Sasuke's beating being, oh, they were simply nerfed. There's no way they could have been eviscerated and defeated so badly. However, simply put, Ishiki is just that powerful. Ishiki is even superior to Kaguya, even superior to fused Momoshiki. He's on a different level. He's in a rare air that even those Otsutsuki don't reach, right? Now, a physical moment that we get in the narrative is when Sasuke is in this other dimension and he sees this stone tablet, right? He sees this stone tablet which represents this sort of power hierarchy amongst the Otsutsuki, right? So you had Kinshiki at the bottom, you had Kaguya and Momo parallel to each other, implying relativity, and then you had Ishiki at the top, implying him being the head of the Otsutsuki clan, at least in terms of these four, right? So even that goes to show you how Ishiki is the top member of the clan as far as caliber and the ability to engage in combat, right? So that just further explains why Ishiki had such an advantage against Naruto and Sasuke for the majority of the narrative. So I'm actually quite intrigued to see how Naruto Explained approaches this one and what his thoughts will be here today. But before we begin, and let's really appreciate, hit that like button, turn on bell notifications to stay updated with yours truly. And if you're new and you enjoy, man, and you mess with the kid, make sure to hit that sub button, because once you do, you become part of the family forever. But let's now waste some more time screen. Let's see what Naruto Explained says today.
Yo, what's going on, guys? So today's video is going to be a little bit different than my normal videos. Normally, I don't get caught up in the versus aspect and the scaling. That's not anything that I really like to dive into. I more so prefer talking about the Naruto lore, but we're in a situation where essentially the fandoms had a meltdown after Boruto episode 204, the same meltdown that we had 2 years ago when chapters 37 and 38 of the Boruto manga came out. Which is, people are going through the 7 stages of grief when it comes to Naruto
That's a good way of putting
and Sasuke
it.
getting defeated by Jigen. And I will say this, the anime version added extra scenes and they gave Naruto and Sasuke more of a fighting chance. In the anime version, the manga, Jigen just dog walked them from the beginning to the end. So it could have been worse, I will say that. But I'm gonna break this video down into parts right here. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're going to actually explain why Naruto and Sasuke did better against Jigen than people are giving them credit for. That should be something that anime fans should look at that and actually take that as a W. We're then going to actually look at why the various jutsu that Naruto and Sasuke could have used as individuals were absolutely useless, including stuff like their combination jutsu, the majestic attire Susanoo, why even that would have been useless against Jigen, and really why they never really had an opportunity to actually use that jutsu. And then after we do that, we're going to actually take a moment and we're going to clean up some stuff. I really feel like people misremember the Momoshiki battle. I think a lot of people, their memory of that fight actually stops when Sasuke gets Momoshiki and the Chibaku Tensei. I think that a lot of people, they overlook a few key details right there. And then we're gonna close out the video by explaining why a lot of what happened to Naruto and Sasuke, a lot of it actually falls at Naruto's feet, and we're gonna explain why that Sasuke out of chakra stuff is absolutely being overblown in this situation. I've done a couple of videos explaining Sasuke's chakra levels. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into the discussion. So when it comes to Naruto and Sasuke, they did better against Jigen, and I want you guys to understand something. So Jigen, before the fight, thinking that he was just gonna have to fight Naruto, thought, yeah, as I am right now, I probably can't beat Naruto by himself. So why am I making that conclusion? Because Jigen went to that other dimension and he absorbed a crap ton of that juvenile Ten Tails chakra levels. That's a different Ten Tails than the one you saw in the war. But the reason why that's so important is even if it's only got half the chakra levels of the Ten Tails you saw in the war, the one that you saw in the war had so much power Naruto couldn't even begin to actually measure the amount. So even if it's half, Naruto still couldn't measure the amount of power that that Ten Tails had. Naruto with just a small portion of the Kyuubi's power being given to people, 1/2 of the Kyuubi at that, was enough to actually juice people up by 3 times power. Jigen took several seconds to absorb chakra from that Ten Tails, which means that there's an unknown multiplier on there. Very important to keep in mind, because Naruto and Sasuke, when they fought Jigen as individuals, he's absolutely bodying them. Naruto, when he first got hit by Jigen, his first thought against base Jigen is like, oh, he's fast, oh, he's strong. But when he went up against Karma Seal Jigen and Jigen hit him with a serious attack in that other dimension, his first thought was, his blows are heavier than I expected. He's never thought about that. That's essentially one of those times where if you've been in a fight and you fought somebody stronger than you, you knew from the very moment that they hit you that it's like, oh, okay, I'm probably gonna get my ass whooped, but I'm gonna at least get a few shots in. I'm breaking a nose or I'm punching this dude in the eye. I ain't going out like a bitch. That's what happened in that situation. Now, Naruto and Sasuke, the reason why you need to take this as a W is Naruto and Sasuke understood that. Sasuke immediately said, we can't keep fighting this guy one-off. Naruto, you buy me some time. Naruto was fighting using all those shadow clones. He was getting demolished, but Sasuke was able to break down his jutsu.
Right.
And then that's when they worked together. And when they worked together in unison, they're able to make up the strength difference by timing their attacks together. And when you watch that fight closely, Naruto and Sasuke against stage 1 Jigen, when you watch that fight closely, they had Jigen on the defensive, reacting to their attacks, and they were in control of that fight. So because they were in control of that fight working together, that leads to the next point. So now we're gonna look at the combination jutsu that they could have used, which is the perfect attire majestic Susanoo. So the reason why this is important to keep in mind is that Naruto and Sasuke, number one, Jigen when he transformed never gave them the opportunity to actually use it. He's speed blitzing them, he's dodging the attacks at point blank range, he's shrinking and avoiding attacks, and he's destroying their avatars in one hit. When he destroyed Sasuke's perfect Susanoo, Naruto literally looked like he just pissed himself, because that's the ultimate defense right there. He did not expect Jigen to have that much power. So the reason why that's important to keep in mind is that that was Jigen saying, okay, now I'm getting serious. When they first transformed, Naruto and Sasuke were both looking at Jigen and they're talking a lot of trash at that point. They're saying, we're gonna destroy you here and now, this is it. Neither one of them, because they were in control when they were fighting in unison together, neither one of them said, yeah, maybe we need to actually combine our power to use this jutsu, because they did all of that without actually using.
Alright, so I definitely want to add this. Whether Naruto explained is implying this or not, Ishiki has the power to defeat Naruto and Sasuke at their best, excluding Baryon mode, of course, more than likely. Right? Essentially, the Jigen vessel was a failed vessel, like I said at the beginning of this video and this reaction. All right, so essentially, Ishiki had to be wary of the amount of effort and power he invested in battle, right, when engaging in battle, because of the risk of the vessel failing, right? Because if you remember correctly, at the end of this battle, if I'm not mistaken, the vessel began to crack, right? Because the vessel wasn't capable of executing and maintaining this level and caliber of power. Right, Ishiki is an absurdly and astronomically powerful entity, and this vessel was incapable of withstanding that amount of power. Right, so the reason why Ishiki went to the juvenile Ten Tails to obtain power was most likely because the Jigen vessel wasn't incubating enough power to deal with even Naruto alone, right? Ishiki deduced, okay, Naruto is the Hokage, he does have the 9 tails within him, I'm going to have to prepare accordingly. So I'm going to go to the juvenile 10 tails, and I'm going to extract some power to gain the edge that is necessary for that encounter. All right, and on top of that, as Naruto explained, has already illustrated, Ishiki wasn't even using his full effort early on, not even against Naruto and Sasuke in conjunction. That is the reason why they were able to put him on the defensive. Right? They were able to put him on the defensive because, again, he wasn't using maximal effort. He was using an arbitrary amount of effort that is certainly below his maximal effort. So, again, that was the reason why he was put on the defensive. Now, Naruto and Sasuke miscalculated, right, and came to the incorrect conclusion that their avatars, right, the Susanoo and the Biju avatar respectively, would be adequate to defeat Jigen. Because what happened once they went into those avatars respectively? Jigen began to use more effort and jumped to the next gear, if you will, and then thoroughly began to thrash Naruto and Sasuke in taijutsu. Right? He was capable of going through both of their avatars and one-shotting them, causing the avatars to dissipate. We haven't really seen that happen to Naruto and Sasuke throughout their careers. That just goes to show the absurd power that this entity is capable of. Right? It wasn't because they were nerfed. It wasn't because Kishimoto had to retcon them because he wanted them to lose. No, it's because Otsutsuki is on an entirely different level. That's the point that Naruto explained is trying to make, and that I am also trying to make. So, simply put, Ishiki was gauging their ability. Right? He was gauging their ability. He was not using maximal effort, and he was allowing them to press him when engaging in battle. And once he saw them get serious, and most likely deduced himself that their power has skyrocketed due to them being in their avatars, he decided to take it up a notch and go into a next gear, and we saw what happened. Right? So I just wanted to say that, but let's continue on.
Using their actual avatars. In the immediate aftermath after that, that's when the following scene takes place and they get absolutely dog walked. So now that we kind of gone over that, I want to look at Naruto's abilities first, and then I want to look at Sasuke's abilities. So the first thing to keep in mind when it comes to Hokage Naruto is that Hokage Naruto has 3 Kekkei Genkai, but 2 of them are absolutely useless. So Magna Release would be useless against Jigen, and Lava Release would be absolutely useless. The only one that could have helped him would have been Boil Release. However, when we've seen Naruto use Boil Release, it's not been for a continuous amount of time. It's been in very short bursts. We have no confirmation that Naruto can use Boil Release for an extended period of time, for a prolonged period of time, to stack it on top of his QB chakra mode transformation. There's no confirmation of that, and given that he could only use it for a short period during the war arc, that would mean that Naruto have to train. The problem with that is that once Naruto became Hokage, Naruto stopped training. But again, we have no confirmation that Naruto was able to actually stack Boil Release on top of his chakra modes and keep it activated for a prolonged period of time, which is what he would need to do against Jigen. And even then, the power gap is too big. People say, well, why didn't Naruto start using the Tail Beast Rasen Shurikens? I'll tell you why. Because Jigen's ability allows him to either use Karma to absorb those attacks, or it allows Jigen the ability to actually shrink the attack. So even if he used a nature
trivial to use ninjutsu,
shuriken, Jigen would just be able to shrink the attack. He wouldn't be able to absorb it because of how Karma works. But Jigen, using his dojutsu, is able to actually shrink the attack. So Naruto's Rasengan variants, which is about 80% of Naruto's arsenal, those are absolutely useless. Biju bombs, it's the same thing. When you look at it, when Naruto's in the Kurama avatar, when he used the Biju Dama, Jigen dodged it at point blank range, and then the other time Jigen was able to actually shrink it. He's too fast for Biju Dama to have any type of effect. When Naruto used Shadow Clones, the Shadow Clones were being absolutely demolished and wrecked. This is Naruto with chakra from all 9 Biju. This is Naruto with chakra from both halves of the QB. By default, this version of Naruto is stronger than the version of Naruto that used all those Shadow Clones to take out the Edo Tensei in the war arc. This
Correct.
version of Naruto is
Exponentially
a lot
times stronger.
Go back, if you go back and you look at Naruto the last one, he tanked that attack that blew up a huge chunk of the moon. Naruto was able to tank that in his base mode. So you also have to look at the truth-seeking orbs. People say, well, he didn't use the truth-seeking orbs. I did a whole video talking about the truth-seeking orbs and why Naruto can't use them anymore. It's not Hagoromo. He's not making more truth-seeking orbs. Even if he had them, Jigen's too powerful. When it comes to speed, strength, and durability, it's the same thing. Jigen in that transformed state is too powerful. Rasen Shuriken was not going to do anything. Jigen could have just shrank it or he could have absorbed it. When it comes to the Kurama avatar, he literally blew up Kurama's head with an uppercut and destroyed the entire physical body of the Kurama avatar. When it comes to the actual Toad summon, why didn't he use the Toad summons like he did against Pain? If the Kurama avatar was getting
that would be absolutely useless. They would just die.
Summonings would have been frog legs at that point. Jigen would have had some nice frog legs.
That would have been a horrible decision
After he destroyed Naruto and Sasuke. When it comes to Naruto going into that Asura mode, that's kind of the same thing when it comes to some of the Sage mode abilities. They're in another dimension, so there's a strong possibility there is no nature energy over there. The only reason why Naruto survived as long as he did, if you look at it after Sasuke was left near death, Naruto is still in his chakra mode, but Naruto is also coming from the Uzumaki lineage. He's got a stronger life force and more chakra levels than your average person. His mother was able to survive a Biju extraction, whereas it kills other Jinchuriki immediately after extraction. Uzumaki can survive for a short period of time after the fact. Where some of this kind of falls on Naruto's lap is that you could make the argument if Naruto continued to train and continued to stay battle sharp, they might have been able to actually finish off Jigen. But if you read the manga, you know what happens when you kill Jigen. They wouldn't have wanted that scenario to take place. When you look at Sasuke, this is the big thing. People say, oh my god, well, Sasuke would have used more chakra. They still would have been screwed. So Sasuke more than once tried to use some lightning style attack or some variation of Chidori where he ran the Chidori through a sword. It didn't work. When he tried to use a Amaterasu, Jigen was laughing when he saw the Amaterasu and said, oh, that's all? Yeah, it's useless against me. When it comes to Perfect Susanoo, Jigen destroyed it in one hit. When it comes to the other basic Rinnegan Jutsu, those Jutsus still eat up an enormous amount of chakra. This is the problem with Sasuke. Sasuke has always, when it came to Meino Teijikara, when it came to his space-time ninjutsu, those jutsu have always eaten up an enormous amount of his chakra. The eye needed to charge back up. After he used the Meino Teijikara multiple times, Sasuke's eye needed to recharge. Even when you get to Naruto Gaiden, which was created by Masashi Kishimoto and drawn by Masashi Kishimoto, Sasuke, his Rinnegan needed 7 or 8 chapters to recharge after using the interdimension transportation jutsu that he used. Sasuke not having chakra when it comes to Rinnegan after repeated use, this didn't start in Boruto. You guys just didn't pay attention. So when you look at the Jigen fight, one thing to keep in mind is that Sasuke opened up a portal, traveled to where that Ten Tails is, opened up another portal, tracked Naruto to where Jigen was, and then came out of that portal and then used the Meino Teijikara several times. Sasuke was burning through a lot of chakra even before that fight began, because by his own admittance, going into those different dimensions requires a lot of his chakra, and the whole time that he's fighting against Jigen, he's having to keep a mental check on how much chakra he has in case he needs to teleport himself and Naruto out of there. Using Almighty Push or Universal Pull, Shibaku Tensei, stuff like that, that would have ate up more chakra. Let's say he used Planetary Devastation like he did with Momoshiki. Jigen is stronger than Momoshiki.
Much stronger.
Broke out of Planetary Devastation and was smiling when he did so. So if Momoshiki could break out of it, what do you think Jigen could do? Matter of fact, Jigen could actually shrink down to an atom-sized level and avoid that attack. So Planetary Devastation, absolutely useless. So people say, well, how come he didn't use the human path? He could have ripped out Jigen's soul. The problem with that is what we saw in the war arc. When Nagato tried to use that ability on Naruto, we saw one of the key weaknesses It's not an instant kill where you can rip out the soul immediately. That only happens when the person's weaker than you. When the person is
Substantially
stronger
weaker
than you, they can actually resist. So not only would Sasuke have to catch Jigen standing still long enough to actually perform the human path, but then Jigen's a lot stronger than Sasuke or Naruto. He could have resisted the attack. So the human path would not have actually worked. Sasuke's Rinnegan abilities, the basic Rinnegan jutsu, would have been absolutely useless against Jigen. The problem with a jutsu like Kirin is, number one, it requires a lot of setup time that Jigen's not going to give Sasuke the opportunity to use.
Absolutely not, yeah.
Jigen's fast enough to actually dodge the attack if Sasuke could pull it off. When it comes to using Angel's Arrow, the problem using something like that is that Sasuke would have to be able to actually summon the other Biju to that separate dimension, which would require even more chakra, and then he would need even more prep time to be able to use his perfect Susanoo as a conduit to start absorbing the chakra from
Jigen would just
the
simply
9
absorb it anyway.
Biju. Naruto by
Trivial.
himself against transformed Otsutsuki formed Jigen is not strong enough to buy him that time. You see how easily he washed Naruto when Naruto used clones just using stage 1 karma. He would not have had the time to actually use Angel's Arrow, so you can take that one off the board as well. Just being blunt, Jigen, his ability with his dojutsu and his abilities with the Karma Seal is a walking counter to 90%
Essentially,
of Naruto
that is the
and
case.
Sasuke's
Yep.
arsenal.
Exactly.
And then the other 10% that they could use that could give him problems, the problem with that is that they lack the power, they lack the speed. In Sasuke's case, Sasuke lacks the actual chakra levels and stamina to be able to keep up with a battle that is moving in that high of an intensity level. And the scary part about that is that you're not seeing Ishiki Otsutsuki at his full power. Jigen's body was breaking down because he couldn't handle the strain that was being placed on the actual body. Jigen did the one thing that Momoshiki couldn't do successfully, which is keep them separated and do not allow them to actually work together to bring you down. With Naruto and Sasuke, if you're stronger than them and the gap isn't astronomical, then they would be able to eventually overwhelm you with teamwork. With characters like Naruto and Sasuke, the only way you defeat them is if you separate them and you absolutely overpower them. That's what you saw here. For as skilled as Sasuke is, for as perceptive as he is, for all the hacks that comes with the Sharingan and the Rinnegan, because Jigen was that much more powerful than him,
it's a
Sasuke
pure
couldn't utilize
vast
those
discrepancy.
advantages. What good
Simple
is
as that.
precognition, being able to predict the movements of your target if you don't have the speed to react? The same thing with Naruto. Naruto was not in battle shape, but that is Naruto's own fault, and it's been foreshadowed since 2015 when Masashi Kishimoto wrote Naruto Gaiden. This was a longer video than usual, so if you made it all the way to the end, press F in the chat. But I want to know from you guys, how do you guys feel now that you've seen Jigen's abilities? What does it say to you that Naruto and Sasuke are able to keep up with Jigen after Jigen absorbed all that Ten Tails chakra and they're able to push him that far? What do you think that says about their power? I think you need to be happy, but I will restate what I said in the actual episode review. If Naruto and Sasuke managed to kill Jigen, they would have been dead immediately after the fact. There's some stuff that the anime has not shown you when it comes to Ishiki Otsutsuki. And one final thing before I get out of here, I've seen people say, well, why didn't Naruto just give Sasuke some of his chakra? Did we watch the same fight? Naruto was getting his ass handed to him. Naruto didn't have much chakra to actually spare at that moment. He needed every bit of chakra just to keep his own ass alive. But anyway, like I said, this is a different type of video for me here on the channel, so make sure you hit the like button, make sure you share. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end.
Great video, Naruto Explained. Alright, so there you guys have it. I certainly want to give my thoughts on this. Great video by Naruto Explained. He illustrated and elaborated on that battle very well. The discrepancy is just vast, guys. It's a vast discrepancy in power between, again, an imperfect vessel of Ishiki Otsutsuki and Naruto and Sasuke. It's as simple as that. Now, all the what ifs that the fandom probably threw back then, like what if Naruto used the Rasengan, the Rasen Shuriken? What if Sasuke and Naruto were able to to mold together and use the Susanoo attire, Bijou avatar, etc., it doesn't matter. He's just that much more powerful than them. He's just that superior to them. This is a god engaging in battle with boys. That's how large the discrepancy was once Jigen decided to use some effort. It's as simple as that. Ninjutsu is trivial in combat against Jigen, aka Ishiki. Why? Because he could simply absorb it. Even the damage. There was Amaterasu engulfing Jigen's body, and he wasn't screaming in pain or screaming in agony. He was laughing at Sasuke in his face and simply absorbed the ninjutsu. So something that has been canonically stated to be as hot as the sun has no effect on Ishiki Otsutsuki. It does not. So simply put, he is the perfect counter, like Naruto explained said, to Naruto and Sasuke. Not only can he negate the effects and advantages of ninjutsu, but he is vastly physically superior to them as well. And that's how Naruto and Sasuke got the advantage over Momoshiki. Right? Momoshiki was able to negate ninjutsu. Right? He had the sort of palm eye that did it for him. But once Naruto and Sasuke gathered their bearings, they were able to best him in physical combat. Right? And once they disposed of his absorbing tool, which was again the eye palm, then they went to work and used the Susanoo attire Bijou avatar and disposed of fused Momoshiki. Here they couldn't do that. They didn't have that physical advantage. They didn't have that physical superiority. And this is him at full power. Most definitely Naruto full power. So, not only did Ishiki beat Naruto and Sasuke, something that Momo failed to do, but he beat them at full power. Momo failed to beat a fatigued Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto had about half of his chakra extracted when Sasuke showed up with the Kage and Boruto, and Sasuke had probably about a third of his chakra removed from his chakra pool because of the large amount of people he had to teleport to another dimension. So these guys were significantly fatigued. Against Jigen, that wasn't the case, and they still failed. He is the big bad wolf of the narrative, and probably still is currently. There hasn't been any canonical literature that states Ishii has been surpassed, besides probably Shibai. Shibai is the god of Otsutsuki, and it's more than likely that he's clearly superior to Ishiki if he is the god of that clan itself. All right, so he's the only one that I could see above him. Others that may possibly be stated to be as such could be maybe Daemon, Ida, Kawaki being an individual that's able to utilize his dojutsu now, and maybe Boruto. Besides that, he's the big bad wolf. And he was, and quite possibly still is. That's how powerful Ishiki Otsutsuki is. Now, I understand the sort of hesitation we have to admit Naruto and Sasuke being bested as shinobi and being bested at their best in battle. Right? Because emotionally, we appeal to these characters. We grew up with these characters since our adolescence. So some of us, since our childhood years, since our tween years. Right? We appeal to these characters. They're all we've known for the past decade or so. Even more than a decade. For the past 15 years, they are all we've known and have clinged to as protagonists. But now the times have changed. The passing of the torch is already done. For you guys that are caught up with the Boruto narrative, the passing of the torch took place a couple chapters ago. Honestly, that's just the cold hard reality. Naruto and Sasuke are no longer the top combatants or entities in the verse. And they haven't been for quite some time. Naruto's sealed. Spoiler alert. Naruto's currently sealed. And Sasuke seems to be out of the equation. He might be dead. He might be just purely sidelined due to his inferiority. Who knows? But they are no longer the top of the verse. Right? Humans hate change. I hate change. I don't want to see Naruto and Sasuke fall away into becoming fodder and sidelined and a distant memory. I don't want to see that, but that's inevitable, and it's already taking place. It's an inevitable, unfortunate event for the Naruto fandom, for the older generation of the Naruto fandom. It's as simple as that. But change is an everlasting event that will always take place. Opponents get tougher. Opponents get more powerful as the narrative progresses. And older protagonists gets shifted away as the main focus and replaced by newer protagonists, aka Boruto, aka Sarada, aka Mitsuki. Alright, so that's where we are, folks. That's where we are, unfortunately, and although it's a hard pill to swallow, that's where we are. Jigen, aka Otsutsuki, was someone that Naruto and Sasuke just couldn't defeat. Sasuke couldn't even perceive Ishiki. Once Ishiki was no longer in his vessel and he was able to use closer to his maximal power, Sasuke couldn't even perceive his rods, perceive his movements. That's how much superior Ishiki was in terms of speed, neurotransmitters, etc. Vastly superior. Not even a Rene Sharingan was able to perceive it. The only person that was able to perceive Ishiki Otsutsuki was Baryon Mode Naruto. It's the only individual. That just goes to show you the leagues this entity was over these two. But yeah, folks, that's my thoughts on the video. Very well done. I think it was necessary to discuss this because, yeah, the fandom doesn't want to accept it. There are parts of the fandom that legitimately think that Jubidara beats Ishiki. That's absolutely absurd. That's just not the case. So, like I said, that's my thoughts on the video, folks. Of course, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree with me and Naruto Explained? Do you disagree? Are you revolted by our thoughts? Are you in the middle somewhere? Whatever they may be, make sure to leave them in the comment section below, and I'll catch you in the next video. This is Jay the Great signing out. Peace.